Edward and Henry are two engines who have lived on the island of Sodor for a long time. Henry pulls heavy freight trains, while Edward is a light mixed traffic engine. Sometimes Henry will get the chance to pull the express, and sometimes Edward would get the chance to act as a back engine. But whatever they do, they love being really useful. One afternoon, Henry was waiting at the docks. He was about to take a very long, heavy freight train. A majority of the goods were coming from the ships, and the workmen were not moving very fast. Henry was getting impatient. "Hurry up," he said. "I'm going to be behind schedule." "Not my problem," said one of the lazier workmen. "It will be if Sir Topham Hatt finds out you were the reason that I was late." That shut up the workmen real fast. But the loading was still taking forever. Henry was now really worried about running late. At last, the final truck was loaded, and the conductor blew his whistle. Henry set off with the giant freight train. Henry huffed and puffed down the line. Engines stopped at signals to watch the mighty engine speed by. The passengers on the platform stepped back as Henry's enormous train rolled through. Edward was at Wellsworth delivering his last passenger train for the day as Henry came through. "Fizzling fireboxes," he gasped. "I hope he can make it up the hill." As Edward wheezed out of the station, he could hear a man saying, "Hard to believe that old thing is still running, considering the big grain engine of past." Edward felt a little hurt, but he was used to being called old, so he would just pretend he didn't hear and returned to shunting to the yards. Meanwhile, Henry had arrived at Gordon's Hill and began to climb. But while he did, the train started to feel longer and heavier than it actually was. Henry gave it all his puff, but ultimately, he came to a standstill. "Oh dear," said his driver. "We were going so nicely too." "I'll go phone for help," said the fireman. Edward was the nearest engine, so he set off to aid Henry. When Edward arrived, Henry had already been brought down to the bottom of the hill. "Hello, Henry," he tooted. "I've come to push." "Thanks, Edward," said Henry. "But I don't know how much help it's going to be. I'm already running late, and this delay is going to make me super late." "After we go over the hill," said Edward, "I'll continue pushing from behind. That way, we can make up for lost time." Henry and Edward's crew agreed, and with the blow of the conductor's whistle, Henry and Edward started puffing up the hill once again. The two engines huffed and wheezed their way up the steep climb. With every single wheel turn, the top seemed to get closer and closer, until at last they reached the top. "We did it!" gasped Henry. "Together," sighed Edward. But now for the rest of the journey. And with that, the two engines raced down the hill and sped down the line. Edward and Henry puffed in unison as the stations and other engines flew past them. The two worked with all their strength and huffed their hardest together. At long last, the final station appeared. Henry and Edward then rolled into the station, exhausted. Sir Topham Hatt looked at the clock. 5 minutes late," he said. "But it would have been 30 if it weren't for Edward." "Oh, please," said Edward modestly. "You did all the heavy work. I was just pushing from behind." "Well, either way," said Sir Topham Hatt, "by working together, you got the job done, and you were both really useful engines." Edward and Henry smiled. So that's going to be all for this video, guys. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments what you thought of this video. But that's all for now, guys. This is the Blue OJ Leader, and I'll see you later.